Finally, after 40 years, the U.S. introduced the next-generation tank, Freedom Fast. The 1980 released M1 Abrams, which was formerly used by the Marine Corps, is the current main combat tank of the American Army. The armed forces of Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Australia, and Egypt all employ the export version. The Abrams tank saw combat for the first time in the Persian Gulf War and has since participated in the Afghanistan and Iraq wars while serving in the U.S. military. Iraqi Abrams tanks have also participated in the fight against the Islamic State and have been used by Saudi Arabia in the Yemeni Civil War. To know more about the Abrams tank, just continue watching the video. In honor of General Creighton Abrams, General Dynamics Land Systems, formerly known as Chrysler Defense, created the third-generation American main battle tank known as the M1 Abrams. The inside of the contemporary M1A2 has undergone such significant improvement that it barely resembles the original tank. Its enthusiasts describe it as the world's most technologically sophisticated tank. However, a lengthy testing cycle is necessary. Although it is difficult to imagine, the Abrams' original concept was born in the late 1970s, during the Carter administration. 1980 saw the delivery of the first tanks. That entails a career spanning more than 40 years. The Abrams were not involved in a significant battle until Operation Desert Storm, but then it dominated the Iraqis. In an effort to confront Saddam Hussein's army, about 1,900 tanks flooded across the desert. At that point, the Abrams dispersed the Iraqis. The Americans lost only 18 Abrams tanks, 9 of which had to be taken out of service owing to damage, and 9 more which were entirely obliterated. Furthermore, during the First Gulf War, not a single member of the American tank crew perished. Numerous Abrams types have been ordered since then by the U.S. allies in large numbers. Over time, the Americans had to make ongoing improvements to the Abrams to meet demand and compete with Russian tanks like the T-14 Armata. The Abrams is equipped with 2 machine guns and a potent 120mm smoothbore cannon. It has a 4-person crew. In 3 seconds, the loader can get around ready for firing. A gas turbine engine with 1,500 horsepower gives it a top speed of 42 miles per hour, and its range is 265 miles. The Inter-Vehicle Information System has undergone the most important improvement, IVIS. The Abrams M1A2 can easily and continuously communicate during combat. The leading tank commander, for instance, receives automatic reports on the current activities of the tanks that are under his control. IVIS doesn't fall short during difficult battle maneuvers because each tank has a distinct position and navigation point. The M1A2 has a significant tactical advantage because of IVIS's ability to track adversary tanks. IVIS has the ability to order artillery fire to amplify the assault. Each tank commander receives an all-weather thermal sight. The gunner's sights have been improved, while the driver has a digital monitor. In the future, IVIS will also have digital mapping and voice recognition. Over the past 40 years, the Abrams has been a fantastic platform. The Abrams has been overshadowed by dismounted infantry and cavalry troops engaged in counterinsurgency operations throughout the War on Terror. But with the multiple Abrams modifications, the Army will have a clear advantage. The Abrams-X has a hybrid electric engine and an automated turret, in addition to being 20 tons lighter than the most recent iteration, the M1A3. This is not quite a next-generation tank, despite what the media has called it. Actually, the Abrams-X is a technology showcase. It started as a research project for internal use at General Dynamics to demonstrate how new technology might be incorporated into a new tank or added to an old tank. The Abrams-X isn't really a next-generation armored vehicle. Rather, it serves as an interim design to bridge the gap between the Cold War-era designs that currently make up the majority of the world's tank fleets and the real next-generation vehicles, which will likely enter service nearer to 2050. However, the Abrams-X is a functional weapon. Before we go any further, please subscribe for more content like this. Hit the bell icon to receive notifications whenever a new video is posted. Firepower, protection, and mobility are the 3 characteristics that tank design must strike a balance between and trade off. The main objective of the Abrams-X was to address a major issue with the M1. which has been produced in excess of 10,000 units since 1979. The Abrams has always been a substantial tank. The current Abrams weighs closer to 80 tons thanks to enhancements like the Trophy Active Protection System, which is meant to fire down incoming anti-tank weapons. Even the early M1A1s weighed roughly 60 tons in comparison to Russia's 45-ton T-72 and China's 55-ton Type 99A. The chief weapons inspector for the Pentagon cautioned in a 2021 report that, quote, the M1A2, SEP V2 and V3 total weight growth with full combat load and trophy APS has posed transportability and recovery issues, unquote. In fact, the newest Abrams is now so massive that it cannot be carried by Army recovery vehicles, which may force the Army to leave injured or malfunctioning tanks on the battlefield. The new vehicle weighs only 60 tons despite being very similar to the early ones. Lighter vehicles have many benefits, including their capacity to cross bridges that would give way under heavier ones. The new strategy, which replaces decades of counterinsurgency emphasis, calls for large unit mechanized operations against adversaries that are close allies, including China and Russia. A series of linked improvements help the Abrams-X reduce weight. As a result of the turret's reduced size, less heavy armor plating is present. The crew is tucked inside the armored hull, hence the turret can be smaller as it is unmanned. The crew can be cut from 4 to 3 by using automation, which includes an autoloader for the cannon. The 3 crew members now sit side by side in the hull and keep an eye on multi-panel displays. The M1's effective but infamously fuel-guzzling AGT-1500 gas turbine engine is replaced by a hybrid electric engine in the Abrams-X. The tank can now control its electronics and even do some limited movement utilizing silent battery power, according to General Dynamics, which also claims the new engine reduces fuel consumption by 50% and increases dependability and ease of maintenance. The main weapon of the Abrams-X is still a 120mm cannon, although it has been replaced by a lighter XM360 gun that was originally designed for the ill-fated Future Combat System. Additionally, it has a Kongsberg RS-6 remote-controlled weapon station with a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun and an XM914 30mm cannon. The Abrams-X boasts certain cutting-edge features appropriate for a tank design of the 21st century. It's equipped with 6 Switchblade 300 kamikaze drones, or loitering weapons. Additionally, it contains a Catalyst artificial intelligence program that can guide the crew during navigation and aid in target identification and prioritization. It was thought that equipping the M1 with the M68A1 gun would be a cost-effective and practical option that would allow ammunition to be shared between the two types of tanks. The second was that the M68A1 could use the recently created M900 APF SDS depleted uranium bullet, which had better penetrating performance than the M774. While the first prototypes were being produced, a disagreement arose between Germany and the U.S. regarding the usage of the 105mm cannon. The XM774, which uses depleted uranium, was one of several new ammunition types the Army intended to introduce for the 105 that would significantly boost its performance. It would be able to easily defeat any Soviet tank with the use of these bullets. Therefore, enhancements to the tungsten-cored M735 were also taken into consideration. There was considerable worry that depleted uranium might not be permitted in Germany, possibly during peacetime. The Abrams tank may be the hardest in the world and is capable of withstanding a lot of abuse. But not at this intensity. Simply put, the Abrams will be readily destroyed by main gunfire from a battleship of the Iowa class. Well, that's all for today. Also, express your valuable thoughts in the comment section below. Until then, bye. Hey, also spend some time watching other videos on the channel.